It's time for a Drunk Talk TV Music Industry News Desk Report.
Strap yourself in for where prohibited batteries not included, not available. State of shock.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Welcome.
everyone, and happy Friday. I have Steven Shinder here with me.
Yeah, we had like a little last minute change, so I had to come on here, and we're keeping it moving.
How are you, Steven?
Pretty good, yeah. There might be a slight delay, but we'll power through it, folks. So, yeah, first off, sorry, I wasn't sure if there's anything else you were gonna say, or if we should move into the icebreaker segment. But okay, so we'll go
right into the icebreaker if you're ready.
All right, yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. And folks, if you're tuning in live, chime in with anything that we talk about here. And even in the icebreaker question, you can comment your answer to that as well. So I'll go ahead and do that segment.
Now it's time for
All right, so
All right, Steven, I have.
You have one? Okay.
I do. So is there an album that describes kind of how you're feeling or anything that's been going on in your life in the last couple of weeks?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. But do you have an answer to that for your end?
I do. I would say that especially as August is here and I'm getting ready to go back to college for the year, for my final year, Noah Kahan's Stick Season, specifically the We'll All Be Here Forever version of that album, is probably really resonating with me this week. Some of the songs are just encapsulate the emotions of going far away from family and like moving on with your life and growing as a person just very well. And I'm really connecting with those lyrics, especially this month.
Okay. Yeah, for me, maybe it's not like a conventional album, but I think because of the introspective nature of the music, not necessarily the actual content, but just the introspective feel of the music. I find myself thinking about the soundtrack to the film Drive. It's the one with Ryan Gosling. It's from like the early 2010s. He's a stunt driver, and he also has to do this other like he encounters like some shady stuff going on the sides. It's a really remarkable film. But yeah, the music to that is amazing. You could listen to it even without watching the film.
That's awesome. Very, very good answer.
Yeah. So next up is this segment.
It's time for This Day in Music History. One out the whole week because we'd be here forever.
All right. On this day, August 15th in 2009, U2's first UK gig on the 2009 tour broke the record for attendance for a concert at Wembley Stadium when over 88,000 people attended the show. It's a pretty big audience. If I was performing in front of that many people, I would probably run off the stage crying, to be honest.
Yeah, and Wembley Stadium is a pretty iconic venue. Some of mine and Dad's favorite bands have played there, Yes being one of them, of course. But yeah, next up for 2007 on this day in music, 16 solo John Lennon albums became available to download on iTunes for the first time after a deal was approved by Yoko Ono. A lengthy legal battle between the band's label Apple Corps and iTunes owner Apple Inc. finally resulted in this deal. You know, for years, I kind of assumed that Apple Records, the Beatles label, and Apple that has iTunes and iPhones or whatever, I kind of thought that they were linked somehow, but evidently they're not. Like, it's something I realized within the last couple of years.
Yeah, very cool that his albums became available to listen to. Very iconic songs, music. So awesome that it became available for download then. In 1998, Boyzone scored their fourth UK number one single with No Matter What, making them the first Irish group to have 4 number one singles. The group also became the first act in history to reach the top 5 with their first 12 single releases. That's really cool that they had that many top 5s and that they were the first act to do that.
Definitely. And in 1992, Boys to Men started a 3-week run at number 1 on the US singles chart with End of the Road, the group's first number 1. It was taken from the Eddie Murphy film Boomerang, and it broke Elvis Presley's 36-year-old record for the longest run at number 1. Imagine that, a legend like Elvis Presley, and you top his record. That must have felt amazing to achieve that.
Yeah, that was a 13-week record, that week run at number 1. So that is a very big record to break there. In 1991, Nirvana played a concert at the Roxy Theater in Los Angeles where they invited fans to attend the shoot for their first music video, Smells Like Teen Spirit, which was being filmed 2 days later. Hundreds of fans showed up and appeared in the video. That is so cool, and that's something that you can, kind of boast about for the rest of your life. Oh, I was in the Smells Like Teen Spirit music video. That's so cool. Such an awesome opportunity.
Yeah, and it's such an iconic video. It's not something obscure. It's like, whoa, you're in that video, so something to brag about. Yeah. And in 1976, ABBA released Dancing Queen as the lead single from their 4th album, Arrival. The song originally had the working title Boogaloo and topped the charts in over a dozen countries, including the US, where it was the group's only number 1. Now, amazing achievement there as well.
Yeah, that's an iconic track. Many of ABBA's songs are iconic. They come on at parties and dances, even still today.
Karaoke.
Yeah, exactly. And I just, I love every single one that I hear. In 1965, the Beatles set a new record for largest audience in attendance at a pop concert when they played in front of 55,600 fans at Shea Stadium in New York City. The group was paid $160,000, and the set list included tracks like Twist and Shout, She's a Woman, I Feel Fine, Dizzy Miss Lizzy, and many others. 2 Rolling Stones members, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, were in the audience, and Bob Dylan visited the Beatles at their hotel after the show.
Wow, that's incredible. Next up, we have... so we're on the next segment, so let me just get the music cue with that.
Let's see what's in the news at Jump Talk TV. Yeah.
Alrighty, so join us for the next music-themed game show on Tuesday, August 19th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. The game show will focus on music history trivia, farewells, reunions, and re-emergences. On www.drumtalktvbrilliance.com, go to our calendar and RSVP for the event so you get the Zoom link emailed directly to you beforehand. You'll get an email early in the day reminding you, and then shortly before the game starts, you'll get an email that has the link where you'll be able to log on to the game. So there you go.
Very fun music game shows that we have every month. Also, 3 music challenges going on this month over on our membership site, Brilliance.com. First, second, and third place winners in music store gift certificates worth up to $125 US, and a chance to be interviewed on Drum Talk TV. The Joey Jordison and Started Up challenges have been extended to August 31st at 11:59 p.m. Pacific US time. Here's a video about the Joey Jordison challenge.
Drum Talk TV Brilliance presents the Joey Jordison Tribute Drumming Challenge. Submissions window now extended through August 31st, 2025, 11:59 p.m. Pacific US time. Play along to tracks featuring the legendary Slipknot drummer, whether they be from that band, Scar the Martyr, Murder Dolls, many possibilities. First, second, and third place winners can win a gift certificate to their favorite music store, as well as a free Drum Talk TV shirt. Shirts only ship in the US. And first place will have the chance to be interviewed live on Drum Talk TV. The tracks you play along to must be the officially released versions. They will not get muted or pulled from a platform. Record your videos horizontally. Once done, submit in our membership site, which has a free tier and a premium tier. Free members can send in 2 videos, premium members can send in however many they want. Your videos will be reviewed and graded on accuracy, fan praise, and sound. For the fan praise factor, invite people to comment the word VOTE under each video they like. The judging criteria is explained further on the submissions page. Go to drumtalktvbrilliance.com and join the fun! Very cool. And folks, go ahead and submit, pay tribute to Joey. And we also have the Start It Up challenge, which is not just for drummers, it's also for other types of instrumentalists. You can play an ostinato with your instrument to mimic the sound of a motor starting. And here's a video which happens to include a couple cool examples. Now extended through August 31st, 2025, 11:59 p.m. Pacific US time. Join the Start It Up challenge at drumtalktvbrilliance.com for a chance to win prizes. This is not just for drummers. Pretend you're starting a motor and then play some sort of ostinato on your instrument. If you submit a video like this, or like this, you could win a first, second, or third place gift certificate to a favorite music store, as well as a free Drum Talk TV shirt, only shipping in the US. First place can also have a Drum Talk TV interview. Judging criteria will be based on the following: 50% creativity, 30% playing skills, and 20% fan praise. Invite people to comment the word VOTE under your video. To get in on the challenge, you can be a free member of Drum Talk TV Brilliance and submit up to 2 videos, or become a premium member and submit as many as you'd like. So join the fun and show us what you got!
Very fun challenges that are extended from July. New this month, we have the Ginger Baker Tribute Drumming Challenge running through August 31st. Play along to tracks featuring him from any era of his long music career. Here's a video with the details about him.
Drum Talk TV Brilliance presents the Ginger Baker Tribute Drumming Challenge running until August 31st, 2025, 11:59 p.m. Pacific US time. For his birth month, play along to tracks featuring the legendary drummer. First, second, and third place winners can win a gift certificate to their favorite music store, as well as a free Drum Talk TV shirt. Shirts only ship in the US. And first place will have the chance to be interviewed live on Drum Talk TV. As per our rules, the tracks you play along to must be the officially released versions. No need to worry about them getting taken off our platform, whether they be from Cream, Ginger Baker's Air Force, his solo work, Hawkwind, pretty much any official track he's played on. Record your videos horizontally. Once done, submit in our membership site. Free members can send in 2 videos, higher level members can send however many they want. Your videos will be reviewed and graded on accuracy, sound, and fan praise. For the fan praise factor, invite people to comment the word VOTE under each video they like. The judging criteria is explained further on the submissions page. Go to www.drumtalktvbrilliance.com and join the fun. Nice. And something that I just want to let people know, because I don't know if we've mentioned this before, but we are still going to announce the winners of the Steve Gadd drumming challenge. It's going to be a little bit later this month, but keep an eye out for when we, email the date, and we'll try posting a promo and whatnot, an announcement and such. But something also going on at drumtalktvbrilliance.com is we have a couple more fan Q&A sessions coming up. So on Thursday, August 21st at 12 p.m. Pacific, drummer Russell Gilbrook of Uriah Heep will be on. And on Thursday, August 28th at 12 p.m. Pacific, we have Peter Erskine of Weather Report and Steps Ahead. If you're not a premium member and just want to register for the Q&A, there will be an option on the site to get a $7 gig pass just for the live stream. This option becomes available prior to each Q&A. We've utilized this to the last couple, so it works very well, that option. So whichever you prefer.
Yeah. And another great reason to become a premium member is that you'll have the option to join the Drum Talk TV Brilliance Ambassadors Program. Premium members refer people with a code for them to use at sign up, and your reward is $10 per sign up. Here's Dan to explain it.
Hey everybody, Dan here from Drum Talk TV and Drum Talk TV Brilliance. Hey, how would you like to make bank by being a premium member of Drum Talk TV Brilliance? It's easy. Like, you're a music fan, right? That's why you joined. How many other music fans do you know, right? So what if they got a discount for joining if you referred them and you got $10 for each one you refer? I mean, you'd pretty much have to be a doofus like this to miss out on something like that, right? Because being fellow music fans, we all know fellow music fans. So go ahead, invite your friends with your own code. We'll tell you how in a minute. But that way you can enjoy things like our live stream concerts, our fan Q&As with big artists, producers, and record executives, our twice-a-month game shows, and other fun things in Drum Talk TV Brilliance with your friends while giving them a discounted invitation, and you make bank. So there you go. So follow the link in this post. If you're not already a premium member, become a premium member. And if you are a premium member, you'll get an email real soon to show how to get your own invite code where you can tell 2 friends, and they'll tell 2 friends. Tell 20 friends. That's $200. Wait, what? You'd have to be like this to miss out on that. You're not like that, are you? Invite your friends. Let's have some fun together. Healthy escapism away from the nonsense and the drama and the craziness online on social. Join us, Drum Talk TV Brilliance. We're here for the fun of it. Oh, and at any time, you can become a premium member, refer your friends, and make some bank.
It's a great deal for premium members. And again, the premium tier also gives you access to our fan Q&A archives. Earlier this week, the children of Ginger Baker, which are drummer Kofi Baker and author Nettie Baker, did a fan Q&A on our membership site. Kofi talked about his band Sons of Cream and some stuff, the catalog, what he'd like to play. And Nettie has an upcoming book titled Cream Chronicled, coming from Weimer Publishing. Additionally, Bobby Rondinelli did a fan Q&A yesterday, Thursday, August 14th, on the membership site. His credits include Blue Oyster Cult, Rainbow, Quiet Riot, Black Sabbath, The Lizards, and more, but that's just to name a few. If you didn't catch those sessions live, they're archived on drumtalktvbrilliance.com for premium members to access.
Yeah, and also on Wednesday, August 13th, just a couple days ago, another episode of Drum Talk TV original show, Rhythm and Lows with Dan Schinder and Jeff Berlin aired, where they talked all about Ginger Baker and Jack Bruce. That episode is available to watch on our socials. And on Monday, August 18th at noon Pacific, Dan and Steven will do a Yes Shift episode celebrating the 1980 Yes album Drama. Steven will also find some time to talk about his vinyl copy.
Yes, indeed I will. And just in case people couldn't hear the first part while you were cutting out, what you were saying was on Wednesday, Dan, my dad, and bassist Jeff Berlin did another episode of Rhythm and Lows, Drum Talk TV original series. And they talked about Ginger Baker and Jack Bruce, continuing Ginger Baker Month as the theme. But now it's time for the next segment. So here we go.
And now a moment to acknowledge those who have passed.
All right. Bobby Whitlock, co-founder of blues rock band Derek and the Dominoes, passed away this week at the age of 77. Billboard reported that he passed early Sunday morning, August 10th, after a brief battle with cancer. His manager, Carol Kay, confirmed his death to Variety and said that he passed away at home in Texas, surrounded by family. His music career started in the mid-1960s when he was a teenager, and in 1968, he joined Delaney and Bonnie and Friends, where he met future Derek and the Dominoes members Eric Clapton, Carl Rattle, and Jim Gordon. He also contributed to Clapton's self-titled 1970 album and played organ on George Harrison's 1970 release, All Things Must Pass. Derek and the Dominoes formed in the same year, and Elton John was the opening act for the U.S. tour of their only album, Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs. The band split in 1971 while recording their sophomore album, and Whitlock went on to release a string of solo albums, as well as be featured on many iconic projects like Exile on Main Street with the Rolling Stones and The Sun, Moon, and Herbs by Dr. John.
Yeah, it sounds like he did a lot in his life. So that's something that we come to learn about these people who pass, whether we know them that well or not. It's always interesting to see what they were able to do,
Yeah.
So, and also here we have Larry Gilstrom, guitarist of Canadian hard rock band Kick-Axe. He passed away last week on August 4th. The news broke this week with an official announcement coming from the band's social media on August 11th. According to Parade, the band's statement said, Larry maintained a positive and upbeat attitude as he quietly fought a courageous battle with cancer, all while performing live shows with Kick-Axe in 2024. And they also shared that his final performance was Saturday, November 23rd, 2024, in his hometown of Regina, Canada, quote, where it all began, unquote. The band is best known for their 1984 album Vices and singles like Heavy Metal Shuffle, On the Road to Rock, and Rock the World. He was 70 years old. Yeah, I'll have to check if I've heard these songs, because sometimes there are singles that I've heard on the radio, but maybe didn't know the title. So yeah, I might have to look into those.
Yeah, me too. And it's, really sweet and sentimental that his last live show was in his hometown where it all began.
Yeah.
That's a very, very special thing. And I'm sure that the band and his family members and his neighbors and friends all look back on that very fondly now.
Yeah, it's a very full circle thing. Like, not everyone gets that opportunity. I mean, just recently, we've talked about Ozzy and how, he was able to do that farewell gig like just before he passed. And I don't know how much they knew at the time, but, the fact that they were able to get that in is a miracle to, I don't know what other word to put for it, but yeah.
Yeah, very beautiful indeed.
All right, so next up we have this segment about music industry news.
Now let's see what's been going on this week in the music industry.
All right, Taylor Swift fans had their eyes glued to the pop star's social media pages this week after she hinted at something big on August 12th. The next day at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, she announced her new album, The Life of a Showgirl, coming out October 3rd. The 12-track album will be her 12th record, and the title track features Sabrina Carpenter, one of the many Eras Tour's openers. Swift took to the podcast New Heights, which is co-hosted by her boyfriend Travis Kelce and his brother Jason Kelce, to talk about getting her master's back, falling in love with Travis, and caring for her father after open heart surgery, before diving into the details of her latest album. She said in the interview that she wrote the album while on the Eras Tour, specifically while in Europe, and she would fly back and forth to Sweden to work with producers Max Martin and Shellback when she had breaks in the tour dates. The track list includes titles like The Fate of Ophelia, Elizabeth Taylor, Father Figure, Cancelled, and more. very exciting news. I'm not that big of a Swiftie, but I have friends who definitely are big Taylor Swift fans. And so when this news broke, it was very big all over my social media. Very excited to hear what she comes out with next.
Yeah, and I think it's also started sort of a trend of memes, right? Like people will post a photo and just caption it like the life of a showgirl or something as if it's an album cover. Yeah.
Yes, that has started. I know one of my favorite podcasts did that recently as well. So very exciting.
Yeah. Sinead O'Connor and her early life will be the subject of an upcoming biopic, which is reportedly being helmed by Irish production company IE Entertainment. According to Billboard, the company executive produced and worked with O'Connor on the 2022 documentary Nothing Compares. O'Connor passed away in July 2023 at age 56. And actually, I'm trying to share the image we have here of her. Okay, there we go. So getting back to my spot, her journey through the music industry and her bold personality and strong sense of justice will be central to the film, as well as her rise to global fame with a total of 10 studio albums. This biopic joins a host of films focusing on the biggest names in music, like Bohemian Rhapsody focusing on Queen, Rocket Man centered around Elton John, and A Complete Unknown about Bob Dylan. Upcoming biopics include a Bruce Springsteen film, Deliver Me From Nowhere, a quartet of movies about the Beatles planned for 2028, and either a television series or movie about Madonna. I don't know about you, but it's quite fascinating whenever they make those sorts of projects and have other people play these iconic musicians. And sometimes, in my experience anyway, it's easier to buy into it, if the actor is doing a really good job. But I feel like if it's a musician who maybe is like after a certain period, and I've seen so many interviews and concerts of them, like there are certain musicians I can't imagine being played by other actors. I don't know. What's your thought on that whole thing?
I've been really behind on my music biopics recently, so I've not really gotten a chance to watch any of the listed movies here, but they're definitely on my list, and I've definitely seen clips. I think it's really interesting. Obviously, the Bohemian Rhapsody one, they had to use an actor because Freddie Mercury passed away.
Yeah.
But Rocket Man, Elton John is still around. I know he's kind of retired. He's
right.
not really
and
doing a whole
the
lot
actors.
right now. Yeah. Are you there?
So sorry, I don't know if my connection cut out, but yeah, I think the actors for those particular movies were believable. Rocket Man, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Of Beatles ones that have already come out in the last couple are believable, but yeah, I guess we'll see how these ones fare. Yeah.
Yeah, very exciting news.
All right. So
All right.
okay, so you have this next one about Joe Perry.
Yes, I do. Joe Perry of Aerosmith stated this week that he is unsure of the future of Aerosmith, noting that Steven Tyler lacks the desire and ability to head out on tour again. Billboard reported that Perry spoke to Boston's WBUR, and while he's uncertain about logistics, he believes the rockers may take the stage once again. Quote, "I would bet that there's an Aerosmith show left," he said. Questions have swirled around the band's future when they announced their 2023 farewell tour, on which Tyler fractured his larynx, forcing the band to postpone the shows. These shows were ultimately canceled when they announced their retirement from touring in August of last year. Perry and Tyler recently met up to discuss the band's plans and ultimately decided another full tour is likely out of the picture. They may consider a less strenuous undertaking, like a Las Vegas residency. "I'll never say never, but I wouldn't bet on it, no pun intended," Perry said. you really have to want to be out there. And we're all at the point of how do you want to live? How do you want to spend the next however long that you've got? So, hopefully they have it in them to do another couple of live shows before they call it quits for good. But, I can't blame them for not wanting to go on a full scale tour again. That must be exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not old, but it sounds exhausting to me. And, even if they can do a small residency, like if that's doable, then cool. But in the end, ultimately they got to do whatever they're capable of doing. It sounds like they're really asking the questions of like, okay, what can we do? What can we not do? Which is good. So nearly 34 years since their split, Talking Heads frontman asserts that a reunion will never happen. Billboard reported this week that frontman David Byrne did an interview with the Rolling Stone ahead of the release of his upcoming album, Who Is the Sky? He has confirmed that his upcoming live tour dates in September and beyond will likely see a mix of his solo material and some older Talking Heads material, though he knows doing this will be a real trap. Quote, that's a quote, and here's another one. If you do too much of the older material, you become a legacy act that comes out and plays the old hits, he explains. You cash in real quickly, but then you've dug yourself a hole. And so since Byrne's last release in 2018, fans have speculated about a reunion, and the band even appeared together at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2023 when their concert film Stop Making Sense was re-released. However, Byrne said, "You realize you can't turn the clock back. When you hear music at a certain point in your life, it means a lot, but it doesn't mean you can go back there and make it happen again." Their one last solitary performance was in 2002 for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, though the band officially split in 1991. So again, reiterating that whole thing of, you can only do what you feel is right, as life goes on,
Yeah, and he's still out there making music and doing his own thing now, and that's great. I think it shows a lot of growth between when he was in Talking Heads and now. So really exciting that he's even still making music and going on tour and still willing to play some of that old material. So very awesome. Yeah. Also, Eddie Van Halen's 1982 Kramer guitar, one of the most iconic guitars out there, is going up for auction. Billboard reported that the instrument is expected to sell for millions at the New York auction house Sotheby's. The electric guitar was played by Van Halen on tour between 1982 and 1983, the design based on the rocker's well-known Frankenstrat from 1975. Van Halen reportedly visited Kramer's facility in New Jersey to modify the instrument, and the guitar was featured in a later Kramer advertisement featuring Van Halen holding it. He later gifted it to technician Robin Rudy Liren, inscribing the phrase, "Rude, it's been a great 10 years. Let's do another 10, Eddie Van Halen." Liren later sold it to the Motley Crue's Mick Mars, who used it in the recording of their first #1 album, Dr. Feelgood. The estimated sales price for the guitar is between $2 and $3 million.
Yeah, these instruments are kind of like, iconic artifacts of rock history. It's kind of like, knights have their swords and what have you, and musicians have their guitars and whatnot. They call them axes sometimes even. So there you go. It's just part of that whole culture. So this week, the Lumineers announced that they are packing up and heading to the Southern Hemisphere, bringing their Automatic tour to Australia and New Zealand in January 2026. Billboard reported that the tour will kick off at Christchurch Town Hall on January 3rd before the group makes their way through Auckland, Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney, Adelaide, and Perth for the first time in 4 years. Wesley Schultz and Jeremiah Freites first formed the project in New Jersey back in 2005 before making it big in 2012. Their 2026 tour will mark the band's 20th anniversary officially. The duo has chalked up over 6 billion streams across 5 albums, scored 2 Grammy nominations, earned 5 Billboard Music Award nods, and gotten an American Music Award nomination. Their latest album, Automatic, released February 14th of this year, was their first in 3 years and debuted in the top 10 in the charts the week of March 1st. Are you a Lumineers fan, Shiley?
I am a little bit. I actually have kind of a funny story about one of their songs. So back when I was a senior in high school, so about 4 years ago now, I got my second car, the car that I still currently drive. It's a Kia Forte, and she's blue. And at the time, I was reading Hamlet in English class, and we had just read about Ophelia and drowning and everything. And so, with the car being blue, I thought it was a fun little ode to the Hamlet character, but it also turns out that the Lumineers has a song that I've known for years called Ophelia. They actually have a lot of songs about that are about women's names that specifically end in A. So Ophelia is one of my favorite Lumineers songs. It's kind of, the theme song of my car. And fun fact, my younger sister also has a car, and she decided to name it Cleopatra, which is also a Lumineers song title. So very fun little anecdote that I have.
Nice. Yeah, I've heard at least a couple of their songs, and I like what I've heard. I think I even saw them on Saturday Night Live once, but I remember knowing someone who apparently was a fan of the Lumineers, but then they got super famous, and so then it became harder to get tickets to see them or something. That's what happens. You don't always know when a band will hit it big, and then it'll be tougher to go see them.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Chubby Checker has refused to attend the induction ceremony for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in November, and he has in fact already received his trophy, which Hall of Fame officials delivered to him during his July 27th to Plain, Illinois show. Penn Live reported that the 83-year-old rocker made sure that his management team booked a show for the night of the induction for apparently a good reason. He reportedly told his manager, quote, "Make sure when we go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the induction that I'm doing what I love doing the most, being in front of an audience, a live audience, not a television audience." Checker made it clear that he is appreciative of the honor despite turning down the invitation to the actual ceremony. He said, quote, "This shows that I'm alive and well, and the audience is wonderful, and my dream is still being fulfilled." That's really cool. He's very honored to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but he would rather spend his night playing in front of his fans rather than sitting in a ceremony and, performing in front of a TV. So very cool indeed for him.
Yeah, for sure. Legendary duo Daryl Hall and John Oates have been in a legal feud since 2023, when Hall sued his collaborator over songs including Rich Girl, She's Gone, and others, while also getting a temporary restraining order to prevent Oates from selling his stake of their joint venture, Hall Oates Enterprise, to Primary Wave Music. According to MSN, Hall has dismissed the charges against Oates, and the move was approved a day later. At the time of the filing, Hall claimed that the sale would go against the business agreements the two made years earlier. Oates explained, "I think what happened was our partnership was established 50 years ago, and the documentation of that partnership was outdated and completely irrelevant to the people we became 50 years later." He also said, "We had changed so radically as people that there was really no way to compromise on that." Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thing to think about, because even though we are, the same technically the same individual across decades, 50 years later, there could be a lot that is different about ourselves and our relationships with certain people. So something interesting to think about.
Yeah, for sure. So glad that that was, settled, and that they seem to be on better terms now that they've dismissed the charges and everything. So hopefully they can, kind of make up their differences and at very least just be at peace with each other. So
Yeah.
Also, shortly after the Beatles parted ways, John Lennon and Yoko Ono moved from the British countryside to Greenwich Village in New York City, which served as the backdrop for their political activism. Parade reported that these years were transformative for both artists, and now a new collection dives deeper into the pair's creativity and perspectives. Power to the People Super Deluxe Edition is a 12-disc collection that features 90 never-before-heard tracks, consisting of a new remixed version of 1972's Sometime in New York City and that year's one-to-one concerts at Madison Square Garden. The Super Deluxe Edition includes 9 CDs and 3 Blu-ray audio discs, which contain a hybrid disc, as well as an evolutionary documentary, which is a track-by-track explanation by Sam Gannon explaining the evolution of each song from demo to master recording, with rehearsals, studio conversations, outtakes, and more. The set will also include 4 discs of never-before-heard home jam sessions and recordings. John and Yoko's son, Sean Ono Lennon, produced it alongside a Grammy Award-winning audio team. In a press release, Ono Lennon said, "I was completely floored putting this collection together and getting to remix the concerts and hearing all of the unreleased material from my parents' archive for the first time." The set will arrive October 10th via Capital Uni. I was reading this story, and he said that it was really, really special for him to hear these tracks, especially from his dad, because, John Lennon was shot in 1980. Sean was only 5 years old at the time, so he, primarily grew up without his dad and just had basically the same clips and songs that the rest of the world had. So it's very special that he gets to listen to this new material that he had never heard before and, cherish it before he shares it with the rest of the world.
Yeah, and that October 10th release date is just a day after what would have been John Lennon's birthday, so I'm pretty sure that's not coincidental. So, very easy for people to remember there. So for this last music news story here, one of the big 4 American metal bands announced their final album and a farewell tour. According to Parade, Megadeth, which has created an incredible legacy with albums like Peace Sells But Who's Buying and Rust in Peace, will release their final album in 2026, which will be accompanied by a global farewell tour. Frontman Dave Mustaine shared the news on social media as his alter ego and Megadeth mascot Vic Rattlehead, saying, "Most musicians don't get to go out on their own terms on top. And that's where I'm at in my life right now. I have traveled the world and have made millions upon millions of fans, and the hardest part of all of this is saying goodbye to them." He also said that the band created a music style and revolutionizes the guitar world. Quote, "I love you all for it. Thank you for everything," unquote. Mustaine will also have a memoir coming out in 2026, and details will be forthcoming soon. Not being super well versed in the world of metal, I'm not that familiar with these albums, but the album titles, like that I mentioned here, like Peace Sells But Who's Buying and Rust in Peace, those are very clever titles. I really appreciate the creativity there.
Yeah, very, kind of sad news, but also awesome news for them that they are going out on their own terms. And we talked about this before that, so many musicians don't always get to have that full circle moment. And so they get to have control of that and, have a one last hurrah with everyone that has loved them over the years. So very exciting for Megadeth fans.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's a reminder of what's coming up soon on Drum Talk TV.
Alrighty. Remember to join us for our game show on Tuesday, August 19th at 6 p.m. Pacific U.S. time for a trivia game all about farewells, reunions, and reemergences. Go to the calendar at drumtalktvbrilliance.com and RSVP so the Zoom link is sent directly to your inbox.
And also remember to tune in for our upcoming fan Q&A sessions at drumtalktvbrilliance.com to see Russell Gilbrook and Peter Erskine answer your questions. And these are happening within the next couple weeks, and we have a couple others that we've planned or are in the process of planning for the coming months. So don't miss out on any of this. We'll really want to be part of this. So yeah, again, that's drumtalktvbrilliance.com. So go ahead and join the fun. And yeah, that's it for this news broadcast. So yeah, I think we did a great job covering this, Shiley.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, Stephen. It was great fun. And everyone, happy Friday. And next week, Dan will actually be here. I'll be driving across the country. So I will see you in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure. So stay tuned, folks, and we'll see you all soon.